All right, let's play a little piece or panic. And if you've got players, if you're listening now, who are you maybe panicking about? Have either he's gotten off to a slow start, he had a down week 3. Let's talk about the Lions a little bit. All right, so they're fine, they're playing well, but Sam LaPorta, he's got an ankle injury. He's only averaging 6.6 fantasy points per game. Many people, he was their fantasy tight end 1. I think he was mine going into the season. I drafted him in 1 league. So he's gotten off to a very slow start. And, the Lions haven't been clicking to the level that we know they're capable of yet. Jahmyr Gibbs has been solid, but not elite. Montgomery's been fine. Amon-Ra. Thank you. St. Brown has gotten better the last couple of weeks. But Sam LaPorta, there is still peace, though, because the tight end position still is wide open, and I'm not panicking just yet. The injury may lead me to bench him for a week or 2, and that's fine, but I'm not giving up on him. I'm not trading him because I want him at the end of the season because I still believe in Sam LaPorta.
Yeah, I think the rise of Jameson Williams has hurt LaPorta a little bit, and as long as Jahmyr Gibbs is healthy, he's going to catch a few passes per game. I think I'm slightly worried there. As long as all of those guys stay healthy and don't get suspended for gambling or something, hypothetical like that, I think maybe just LaPorta's upside is a little bit more limited than it was last season. My panic player that I believed in coming into the season was Anthony Richardson. I'm so worried about Anthony Richardson and every pass catcher. I made the joke, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that he can throw the ball 80 yards down the field, and anyone within 80 yards, he's prone to overthrowing. It's not really a joke. I mean, that's sort of what is happening. He uncorks these passes that are so beautiful. And you're like, this guy, he has a cannon attached to his shoulder. And then he has a dude wide open 7 yards in front of him, and he throws it 10 yards over their head, So it's, and the problem is he's not running, he's not running because Jonathan Taylor is healthy and looks really good. And so Richardson is a guy that I had in a couple leagues that I am in full panic mode there. And that also means that I'm panicking about Michael Pittman, who I have on one team as well. Until Richardson figures it out, Pittman, I think, is unstartable. So full panic there for me and the Indianapolis Colts pass catchers.
Yeah, I think it's fair, and not to pile on, but I just didn't understand all the hype for Richardson in the offseason. I mean, he was just being drafted so early. Like, everyone was drafting him at his ceiling, and he's coming off a big injury, and he barely played last year.
He's a guy who, when he throws the ball 75 yards down the field, it looks like Aaron Rodgers threw the ball. And when he runs over a defender right in front of him on a running play, it looks like Derrick Henry running the ball. But all of the normal plays that fall in between those sort of outlier superlative plays, he just doesn't do the normal sort of run-of-the-mill stuff well. And it turns out you have to do that to play football. He's completing fewer than 50% of his passes so far this season. And that is worrisome. And he's only played 5 full games in the NFL. So for all intents and purposes, he's still kind of a rookie. It's just a question of whether he's ever going to develop into just a mediocre passer.
Well, yeah, and we've got to be patient with him from an NFL standpoint, but from a fantasy standpoint, yeah, I mean, we're panicking. No question.
You're right. I'm moving on. I got to move on. I got to find another. I got to find another option. I got to offload Pittman if I can. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know who wants Pittman at this point. I mean, you can't really.
It's too late.
You can't cut him, but man, you got to bench Pittman. You can't put him out there yet. All right. Peace or panic? Miami Dolphins. I mean, it is full-blown panic. I don't even think we can't even throw the word peace out there unless they somehow trade for a quarterback. But they do not have a quarterback.
They will trade for a quarterback.
They have to.
Yeah, they will. Maybe they give Tim Boyle a shot this week.
It.
Well,
look, come on. What are we doing here?
I heard somebody say on another podcast that he is the best third-string quarterback in the NFL. So that's maybe not the superlative that you want, but they're going to give him a shot. It's not going to go well. Listen to me. Within 2 weeks, they will have another quarterback on that team. I kind of think it'll be Ryan Tannehill. I don't know who it'll be.
Full circle, Ryan Tannehill.
I mean, they have to figure it out. And until then, you can't play their wide receivers. This is a team that has playoff aspirations. They got to get another quarterback on that team, and I think that they will. It could be a little bit of the Andy Dalton effect, right? Where maybe you can go buy one of these receivers low, with the understanding that they'll have a competent quarterback throwing to them in 2 weeks, but it's possible they just roll with what they have. That to me would indicate that they're packing it in this season. And I don't know how you do that with a 30-year-old Tyreek Hill. You've got this guy for a couple more years. I think as long as he's on your team, you've got to figure out somebody who can pass the ball to him more than 10 yards down the field.
So are you saying your bench? I don't have Tyreek Hill. Would you actually bench Tyreek Hill? I mean, I don't know how you do it. Like in fantasy, there's certain guys where you just you start them no matter what, but the expectation has to be really low. I mean, I have Devon Achane. I will still put him in there probably now as my flex guy. But yeah, the expectations are really low. This is a bad offense.
They play Tennessee this week.
Which is all right. So we'll give them this week.
I think I probably play him. They play New England next week, which is a solid defense that wants to slow the game down.
Oh, yeah.
If it's still, Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle throwing the ball by week 5, I think I would bench Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is an easy bench. You have to bench him until So
yeah.
But man, Tyreek is one of you might have drafted Tyreek second overall this season, and that you're in a tough spot there if Tyreek is your wide receiver 1.
This is a side note. We don't have time to even talk about this, but how foolish are the Miami Dolphins to not have a legitimate backup quarterback when Tua has the injury history that he does? You have to invest in that position. I mean, you almost say, all right, we don't even need a number 2. Like you almost don't need Waddle. If you've got Tyreek Hill, like you can probably replace Waddle. Like, all right, we got to spend money other places. Like you got to figure something out. I just don't understand this.